What's happening, Saints fans? We got some terrible news around the head coaching search to dive into, and I'm going to tell you what that is, and we're also going to go through the latest around the updates around the head coaching search. Going to give you some new names to keep an eye out for and all that and everything in between. But really quick, I just want to get down in the comments section. I want you to share your thoughts. The playoffs are underway. We've already seen some teams get knocked out. Welcome to Cabo, Bucs fans. Hope you guys are enjoying the offseason just like the rest of us in the NFC South. But get down in the comments section. Predict it for me. Who is going to be the Super Bowl matchup in New Orleans? And if you want to go above and beyond, let me know who your Super Bowl champion is. All right, let's get to the bad news here. The Patriots, they have hired Mike Vrabel, and it's not bad news for them. It's bad news for us because this is a really good hire. This is a really, really good hire. And Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, was one of my top head coaching targets just across the NFL in general, but especially for the New Orleans Saints. So Mike Vrabel, he played with the Patriots. Now comes full circle. He is a coach for the Patriots. And honestly, even funnier, he's actually the coach that sent Tom Brady into retirement the first time whenever he left the New England Patriots. He was actually the head coach of the Titans when they beat the Patriots and beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. And he ultimately retired, came back to the Bucs, retired again, and now, he's doing stuff for the Raiders and whatnot. But anyway, let's talk about this. Mike Vrabel to New England, it's not a shocking thing whatsoever. This was something I could have called, and something that I did call. A couple of videos ago, I was talking about Mike Vrabel, and I was talking about how he is likely going to be the head coach for the Patriots. I even said he's going to be the first head coach hired. He's going to be the first name off of the head coaching carousel. He's going to be the first guy to have a job. Didn't matter where, but I was like, it's going to be the Patriots. So called it. Not shocked whatsoever. You should have seen this one coming from 10, 15, 20 miles away. But the Saints did miss out on a really good coach. This isn't a shocking update. This isn't anything that I was like surprised to see whatsoever. But the Saints did miss out on a good coach. There's no question about it. Mike Vrabel, he is a culture builder. He is a tone setter. He is a smart coach. He historically has a winning record. He's taken the Titans to the AFC Championship game. He's beaten some of the greats in the playoffs. I think Mike Vrabel would have been an excellent head coach for the Saints. They were not going to get him from the Patriots. So, unfortunately, it's time to look forward and time to move ahead. But there are still a handful of openings still available across the league. The Saints are one of those teams. The Bears, the Raiders, the Jags, and the Jets are also available. And now, most notably, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. But at the time of filming this video, literally seconds before we filmed it, it is announced that the Cowboys will not be bringing back Mike McCarthy. So they will also have a head coach opening in Dallas. And I think that the Saints still have good options. I think that there's still a lot of targets out there that New Orleans should explore and that Mickey Loomis should dive into. And I think that, any of these 7 guys, I don't love all 7 of them. I'm in love with truly 3 of these options. Aaron Glenn, Joe Brady, Kliff Kingsbury. I love those ideas. Darren Rizzi, I also really like that idea as well. But I'm not juiced about the idea of Mike Kafka, Kellen Moore. Anthony Weaver, I think, is a good coach. I just don't know if he's ready to be a head coach yet. But I do think that you do have some interesting options. Now also, we can throw in Mike McCarthy into the mix because he is not returning to the Dallas Cowboys. And reports around Kliff Kingsbury are that he will interview this week. And fun fact, he actually served as a quarterback on the Saints practice squad from 2004 to 2005. So, fun little fact there for you. I thought that was pretty cool that Kliff, he is a former Saints player. Figured you guys would find that little history pretty cool as well. Darren Rizzi, we talked about him as the Saints head coach to ad nauseum. We've talked a lot about it on this channel. The Saints head coach, currently the interim head coach, he has completed an interview in New Jersey for the job with the New York Jets. Now, obviously, Rizzi is from that area, so it would be a little bit of a homecoming for him. I could see him wanting to go to New York or go to New Jersey, I guess you could say, and wanting to go that route. However, I do think with the Saints, they do have a good case for bringing back Darren Rizzi. I think Darren Rizzi's made a good case for himself to be the next head coach of the Saints. But ultimately, we're going to have to find out whether they go internal, whether they go, outside hire. What's going to happen here? I don't know. But I want you to tell me what you want to happen. Who do you want to be the next head coach? Not who do you think it will be. Who do you want it to be? If you had the perfect world, I know a lot of Ben Johnsons will be down in the comment section, but is it Aaron Glenn? Is it Joe Brady? Is it Mike McCarthy? I want you to get down in the comments and let me know. I also want you guys to get started with Game Time, and we're going to really quick, coming up, tell you in a moment, we're going to tell you guys about some head coaching targets that you guys need to keep your eyes peeled for. But really quick, I want to tell you about the Game Time app. It's my favorite ticketing app, and one of my favorite ways to spend the weekend is going to live events with my girlfriend, with my friends, with my family. And thanks to the Game Time app, I've been able to create so many memories since they've been a part of the Chat Sports family. And just most recently, I was able to go watch the Texas State Bobcats take down UNT in the First Responders Bowl here in Dallas, Texas with my family. Both my parents went to Texas State. We were able to get $20 off with our first, because it was our first purchase. It was my parents' first purchase, I should say. But they were able to get $20 off with their first purchase using the Game Time app because they use code CHATSPORTS. Its terms do apply, but Game Time is the best ticketing app. You get views from your seats. You can see exactly what your view is going to be. You can see if there's going to be a pillar, if there's going to be some crazy fan with a sign there. You'll know what to expect when you walk into the venue whenever you're getting tickets. Whether it's to the Pelicans, whether it's to the Rod Wave concert, to the Super Bowl. Bert Kreischer, he's also coming to New Orleans. I would love to get tickets to that. I have heard phenomenal things about Bert Kreischer and his live stand-up special, so I definitely recommend getting some tickets. I also recommend checking out Game Time Picks. They filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So download the Game Time app today. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Reminder that terms apply. That's code CHATSPORTS when you download the Game Time app to get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. Now let's dive into some more head coaching targets. I got 5 names for you to keep an eye out for because this is going to be a topic that until it's answered, we're going to keep discussing. So let's dive into the first discussion topic on today's video. Actually, I think we have 6 head coaching names to give you. I'm way ahead of myself. But Mike Tomlin, could he be an option for the New Orleans Saints? I mean, there's a lot of chatter that the Steelers might want to move on from Mike Tomlin. I mean, there's been a long history of success. No losing seasons since Mike Tomlin has been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, they have not won a playoff game since 2016. So, in my opinion, and I think just kind of across the general scheme or the grand scheme and the general scope of the NFL, feels like Pittsburgh needs to make some changes. So, could Mike Tomlin be on the way out? I mean, I've even seen some trade rumors. I've even seen some chatter out there that the Steelers could look to trade Mike Tomlin. But I'm here to tell you, I don't think Mike Tomlin's going anywhere. And if you want Tomlin to be your head coach, I'm with you. I would love Mike Tomlin to be my head coach. But he's not going anywhere. I mean, first of all, he has a no-trade clause. Like that's a big, big thing here. So unless he agrees to waive that and to, get traded, yeah, okay, fine. If he agrees to waive his no-trade clause, we can have a conversation. But I still just don't think that the Steelers are going to look to trade Mike Tomlin away. I think that they like what they have out there. I think that, there are a lot of excuses, and I think that there are a lot of buts in terms of why the Steelers didn't have more success. You cannot tell me that the Steelers are a bad football team, though, because they have a winning record every single year. It doesn't seem like Mike Tomlin's on the move, in my opinion. I think he's going to go back to the Steelers. And I think next year it's like hey, let's find real success. Let's find some playoff wins, or we're going to have an honest conversation. So Mike Tomlin, I don't think is going anywhere. But let's talk about Todd Monken. I think that he could be a good option for the Saints. The Ravens offense has been absolutely stellar this year, led by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Of course, they have some of the best weapons in all of the National Football League. But hey, Todd Monken has taken advantage of those weapons. He has utilized those tools, and that offense is firing on all cylinders. I think that he is a name to keep an eye out for. John Gruden, the former head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, he is also a name to watch. There's been reports out there that he could be interested in returning to the league, and that there are a lot of teams, not a lot, but there are a handful of teams out there that are doing their homework on John Gruden to see if he'd be interested in returning and they'd be interested in their respective roles. There were reports coming out about last year that John Gruden could have just straight up had the offensive coordinator job after Pete Carmichael got fired. The Saints moved on from Pete Carmichael, and he just didn't really want it. He wasn't interested in it. So we'll have to see what happens. But John Gruden, definitely a name to keep an eye out for, and definitely a name that will ruffle some feathers. Brian Flores, another really good option. If you want to go defensive-minded guy that has some experience as a head coach, I mean, Brian Flores, he was really, really solid as the coordinator defensively for Minnesota. And he legitimately, he is a brilliant defensive mind. And he has a really good scheme defensively, a lot of blitz, a lot of really aggressive in-your-face football. And to be totally honest, I think that that's something in a department that the New Orleans Saints are lacking. That's the blitz. That's something that the Saints need to be better at. And the defense under Brian Flores in Minnesota has been stellar. There is also ties to the Sean McVay coaching tree. Kevin O'Connell, he was tied to the Sean McVay coaching tree. He is the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Flores, he can now potentially go and look at some up-and-comers in the Sean McVay coaching tree and try and poach them and bring them into his coaching staff. So maybe that's something that the Saints decide to go do. And, he was fired as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins after the 2021 season. He went on, an 8-9 game win streak or something like that to finish out the season. Ended up getting fired anyway. Look, there's a lot of really good coaches out there, and Brian Flores has shown success as a head coach. I just still kind of have reservations because of how the tenure went with Miami. Again, Miami was not a great team at the time, and I'm not saying the New Orleans Saints are a much better team, but when it comes down to Brian Flores, I think that this would be a really good option. I just don't know if this is a realistic option. Now, I want to just kind of introduce you guys to the sub battle for 2025. This is the first time we're bringing it up this calendar year. Right now, the Falcons Today channel kicking our ass in subscribers gained in 2025. We're going to check into this pretty regularly throughout the year. So I want us to take down the Falcons Today channel. Hit the sub button for Saints news, rumors, videos every single day, trying to ramp up the content. And here on Monday, we're going to give you 2 videos. I've been doing 2 videos every single Monday over the past few weeks. So help me out. Let's beat the brakes off the Falcons, not just on the field, but here in the walls at Chat Sports as well. If you're a diehard Saints fan and you hate the Dirty Birds, hit that sub button right now. And let's take down Falcons Today. It's subscribers gained over the entire year. Now, Pete Carroll, he's also an option. He has expressed interest in a return to the National Football League, and I do think that he could be an interesting option, but like a long-term, not really. He's 73 years old, Joey? He's an older guy, and, during his tenure as the Seahawks head coach, he found a lot of success. 137 wins, 89 losses, 1 tie. 14 total seasons. It's really, really extensive, and it's a really good career. He did ultimately lose in Super Bowl 49. He is a Super Bowl champion, though, in Super Bowl 48. So, I think that Pete Carroll could be a name to keep an eye out on. I'm not really jazzed about it totally. I want somebody who's going to be here for the long haul. I don't want to have to do another head coaching search in anything less than 5 years, to be totally honest. If we have to keep doing another head coaching search in a couple of years, it's because we made a bad hire, not because the guy's old and he's just not fit to be a head coach anymore. I don't want to do that. So no harm, nothing against Pete Carroll. I just would rather get somebody who can be around and who will be around for the long-term future. Now, lastly, let's talk about Mike McCarthy. This is actually an interesting option. I expect. And I'm not the only one who shares this sentiment. Nick Underhill also shares this sentiment. I expect the Saints to be very interested in Mike McCarthy. He is officially out as the Cowboys head coach. This information coming in literally as we're filming this video. The sides between Dallas and Mike McCarthy could not agree on the length of a contract, and he's going to pursue other opportunities. He has 3 playoff appearances and a winning record in Dallas, so we'll have to see what happens. Shout out to producer Joey because he's absolutely crushing it on this video. But, with Mike McCarthy specifically, I got asked, would I rather have Darren, Rizzi, or Mike McCarthy? And I don't know which one I'd prefer to have over the 2. Sure, McCarthy has had a lot of success, and he has helped keep a Cowboys roster afloat. I just don't think that he's the guy for the Saints head coaching job. I think the New Orleans Saints head coach needs to fit a few different boxes, and I don't think that he checks many of those boxes. And to be totally honest, like, I just don't think that he is that great of a head coach. I'm good. I'll pass. I'm okay. I can understand why you would want Mike McCarthy. I'm personally going to hold my reservations to myself. I'm not really that interested in it. But I do think that he's a name to keep an eye out for, and I do think that the New Orleans Saints are going to be interested in him, and I think that they're going to do their due diligence. But ultimately, I think Aaron Glenn gets the job. I think that this is the Saints, or I think that the Saints head coaching job is theirs to lose if for some reason they don't give them a better offer, or they don't give them an offer that is, equal to the New York Jets. I think that Aaron Glenn's going to pick the Saints. However, you got to go and get your guy. If you don't be cheap. Don't be lame with the years. You can figure that kind of stuff out later. Like, get your guy, get your head coach, and let's do this thing right. So I think ultimately it is Aaron Glenn's job, but we'll have to see what happens. A lot of changes every single day around the head coaching search. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to lock us in because we're going to keep giving you updates. I will have another video coming at you later this afternoon around a deep dive on Mike McCarthy. We're going to talk about the latest in the head coaching search. Clint Kubiak is starting to get some real buzz and some real interest over there. So I think we have some interesting things to discuss later. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the video later. And if you want a shout-out in the video later, thank you guys so much for watching. You made it to the end of the show. I want to show some love to the end of the video, gang. Type Golden Gang down below, and we will see y'all next time.